Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel AI Discoveries. So today I'll be talking about uh, RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation of the generative AI. So under that, this is the high-level architecture where I can walk you through what is there in that retrieval RAG. In that RAG, there are two components. One is embedding, and the other thing is uh, fetching the embedded data from the vector store to provide the answer. Now this is a high level architecture. You can see here, whenever user query is provided, whenever user asks for any question, it will go to the it will generate the embeddings, and using the embedding model, it will create the embeddings and then store to the vector database. And after that, whenever there is a whatever the user query is coming, it will extract using the text model and provide the response to that. So whatever the vector data it is stored over here, it will perform the similarity search and try to provide the answer. Now with respect to what is there in the embeddings, I'll be walk you through that. So under the embeddings, there are two components. One is embedding, and other is the providing the response architecture. So here in the embeddings, the various four components are there. One component is we need to first load the data. So data would be any kind of any format like txt file, pdf file, ppt file, docs file, any data or json file, or maybe you can fetch it through the url. So once you get the data, you need to split the data. So that splitting of data would be in the forms of chunks. So once you uh, split the data in the chunks, it will be loaded for creating the embeddings. So what this embeddings is basically the numerical format of the wordings. So what, let's suppose generative AI, so it will create a generative one as a token, and it will create some numerical data, so that you will be able to fetch the data. Now once you created the chunks of data into the embedded data, so this is the numerical data will get stored into the vector store. So today what I'll be showing is like, this is the embedding I'll be showing, and in that there are two components. First component is, let's suppose you have one document, and you have added the embeddings, and let's suppose you wanted to update that embedding. So you have added some data on top of it, like here in this example here, uh, there is a two file with the same name. One file is having only the data related to the generative AI. What is generative AI? There's nothing after that, but this is the another data where there is a generative AI definition, and also it is containing the machine learning definition. Now what I'll do is, I'll first create the embeddings of this file, and let's suppose after some update you wanted to update the embeddings. So what embeddings for this machine learning as well. So in that case, I'll showcase how you can actually update the data without deleting all the vector data of all the files. So let me cancel all this. Now let me take you to Visual Studio Code. So here let's start with the requirement of txt. So these are the libraries which is required to start with that. So first library is python pypdf. Pypdf is basically reading the pdf, load the pdf data, and transfer it for the embedding. That is one. First CPU is basically to store the vector database. For that we have using it. Langchain community is basically is a wrapper for the generative AI, where we use this langchain for the embeddings. So langchain core, and in the langchain we have core open, and again there is a langchain OpenAI. In the langchain OpenAI is basically, as I mentioned, wrapper for the generative AI. So this is one generative AI, and langchain is act as a wrapper for that. Now UVCon for running, and pandas which is for data frames. So let's start with that. So as I already mentioned, we'll start with, I'll not start typing it, so let me start with that. So here you can see these are the libraries. I'll walk you through on the different libraries. What is libraries? So these libraries we don't require that because we are not dealing with the Azure, we are dealing with the OpenAI. So here this is the langchain community where Versailles vector DB is used. This is pandas for that, and next text splitter for splitting the text, and along with it is reading the data through recursive character splitting. Now this is the path leaf, basically used for moving the file from one folder to another folder. This is OpenAI embeddings, and again the PDF loader, which is we are having it, and this OS and subtle and different. These are the different Python libraries which is used for our implementation. So, and this is OpenOS.env. We are reading the API keys for that. Now first thing is when we are starting our implementation, we have a different function and logic to create the embeddings. First thing is I'm creating a global variable delete file, add file as a list, and declaring the embedding model. So this is my embedding model, and this is the object of the OpenAI embeddings. Now this is the one function to load the vector store data. Now if you wanted to see the vector data, and this is basically used when we are kind of updating the data. So this is one data. In that, what we are doing is we are this is the object of embeddings, Versailles embeddings, where we are loading it, and when with that we are kind of initiating the variable of doc store, which is a variable of vector DB. Once we are do that, we are doing some manipulation. We are reading the data. So the way the data is coming is something like we in the form of keys number, in the form of index 1 2 3 4 5, and after that there would be metadata. After that everything will be stored, and it is splitting, and we are fetching that. Now with that we are kind of fetching the page content, and then after that we are creating different IDs like chunk IDs, document, and the content, and we are creating a data frame so that we can read all this data. So this is regarding the how we can read the data from the vector store. Now this is for when we are updating the data. First we need to delete the existing, like for the generative AI file, whatever the existing file we have, we need to delete it first. Then for the particular file we need to update it. In that case we are not, let's suppose you have created the vector database for two files. One is budget file. If you can see here, there is a budget file and there is a generative AI. So in that case, when you are updating it, you don't need to delete the budget files, you just need to delete the generative AI files. So that is what it requires for. So it is has two parameters. First parameter is for side object, and the document, what is the document we are going to delete it. And now this is the function for listing the directory, like obviously it's a Python implementation. We are just listing the what are the files into the directory and sorting it. So that is one. And this is for the similarity search. The logic behind updating the data is like, let's suppose you just added. So here you can see here this GenAI or this GenAI, the name is same, the only thing is the content is updated. Now the similarity between these two files name is same, so it just only the content is got updated. So we are doing the similarity search and returning the result ratio. So this is for the similarity search, and for function creation. So for the function creation, update and delete. So this is for delete and update function I was talking about it. So here this is the object I was talking about. here we are taking the where to save it. So this is the save it save to file, where we are this is the first IDV index where we will be storing our data, vector data. Here you can see, as you can see here, there is no data over here. So as of now it is blank. So once we'll run that, we will have the data. So this is for load PDF file, and we are here using pipe PDF loader to load the data. So this is the path we have defined it, and this is the function to file load according to the file. Like we currently I'm using the PDF as a one file type. You might have multiple file type like PDF file, docs file, or a PPT file. So here for that, like I'm checking for the PDF file. If other file, I'll say that file is not supported. But obviously for your case, like if you wanted to add it for document type, you can have a file type as a document and then call that function. That is one. Now this is functions for the creating the embeddings. So what we are doing basically loading the data. So with this loading the data, what we are doing is we have file loader, which is this one. I loaded it. Once I loaded the file, what I'm doing it, I'm splitting the data using this recursive character text splitter. I'm splitting the data in the form of 512 chunks. So 512 tokens of the data in the form of chunks. Once it is done that, I'm doing using this object, I'm splitting the document. Once I done that splitted the document, I saved into this txt variable. Now I'll be initializing this embeddings file, embeddings object, OpenAI embeddings, and store into embeddings. And then this is the first where I'm kind of initiating to load my vector DB to. So here you can see this is my data, and this through which this is the LLM model through which I'm kind of providing the parameter. Now once I done that, this is the latest content. It got updated it. Now in the name of latest content, what is this latest content? This is the text, and this is the model through which the vector data has been created, and it is saved to the file. Okay. Now here when you are saving for the first time, you need to check that whether is there any file or not. Why? Because if there is a already file existing, you just need to update it. You don't need to go for the first time. If the length is 0, it means if the data is 0, then you just need to load that latest content and save it. And if not, if there is existing file, then load the old content and merge the latest content and then save it. This is how we create the embeddings and store the embeddings. Then once you created the embeddings, once you created the embeddings for these files, you just need to remove it from one folder to another folder. So this is what we have used it, and this is the main process where we start embedding process. So that function which I have explained it is just for what is the process to embed it. Now under that, when we are starting with embedding process, so we have in list and we have out list. So I was talking about, this is the input file, input directory, and this is the output directory. So I have created a in list file where I can take files one by one from in the in list, and once I created the embeddings, it will be get stored into output list. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking this list file and storing into this lists, and I'll start with the for loop. What I'm doing the for loop, I'll be checking if there is there any file into the output directory or not. If there is no directory, you can directly start embedding process, start adding the embeddings. Otherwise, if there is a file, you just need to match it, whether you need to update the data or not, or it's a unique file. So that's why I'm checking it for the in list. here once if the length is greater than 0 for the out list, it means some file is there, so that file need to be matched from the in list. So here we are matching one by one using the similarity search and getting, if the ratio of the similarity search is more than 90, it means it would be the same file which will be used it. And then after that, if the same file, we need to start deleting that. So we will delete the file, we will call the function to delete it. Once it is deleted, it will return the success. And once it is, we recognize that success, we will start adding that file, the updated file. And once embedding is successful, what we are doing is we are moving the file. Otherwise, if anything happen, we will say that error in embeddings or error in updating or deleting the data. Otherwise, if there is a unique file, we are adding the embeddings and moving the file. At last, as I've already mentioned, this is the first scenario where there is no file in the output directory. So this is how we create that. Now let me I have copied each and every component under the one file so that we can directly run through that and see whether it's creating any embeddings or not. So this is how. So let me just run that. So Python, I have already installed the requirement.txt. So you can just give pip install -r requirement.txt. So that the way you can install that. Now here you can just run that. So first try not chat embeddings of Python. As you can see here, there is no data over here. So let me just showcase that. So here you can see this this is budget file and this is the generative GenAI file. I'll be creating the embeddings of it. So let me just enter it. It will take some time and start doing it. So I will wait for some time to start that. So it started with the budget new file because there is no file into that output directory, and there is a generative AI again. So you can see here these two files got created. This is the embedded file got created. Now let me just delete that the output directory, and let me just put this file into the file directory. So I want to do that. So let me run through again. So as of now you can see, let me showcase whether the data is updated into this file or not. So let me take you to this point where I have created the function where you can actually read that. 1 minute. Not this one, guys. I have tried many things, so just bear with me. IPYNP, not this one. This is the embedding process. Embeddings, chat, this. So let me quickly run this and activate the API key, FSI index where we are going to load it, and open embeddings. Now I'll come to this point where you can see that. So let me just, as I mentioned, this is the function where we can actually look for what is the data get stored. So as you can see here, this is the data got updated into this vector DB. So let me here you can see that what is generative AI, and there is nothing related to the machine learning. Let me just run through the new file. Yeah, so ignore this. Let me just run through this again. So again the data got updated, and this is how we got the data with respect to the machine learning AI innovation, and this is how we get that. So yeah guys, this is how we generally update the data, and we get what is we require that. So yeah, uh, please like, share and comment. If you have any queries, please let me know. If you have any issues while running that. Thank you.